เดี๋ยวกินเสร็จน่ะเราเล่นไพ่กันนะขามาครบกันแล้วเนี่ย
ไม่ทันไรจะเอาเงินลูกเงินหลานแล้วไปเปิดเซฟเลยเดี๋ยวกินให้หมดตูดเลยเดี๋ยว
มีปัญญาก็ลองดู
ก็มานี่
เนี่ยกูรู้เรื่องมะเร็งแล้วนะไอเอ็มมันเป็นคนบอก
ก็มันเป็นร่างกายของอาม่าปะเอ็มว่ามันก็เป็นสิทธิ์ของอาม่าที่อาม่าต้องรู้อะมุ้ยเฮียอยากคุยเรื่องงานสบายๆที่มุ้ยท
ำฉีดตุงแล้วเดี๋ยวเราเปลี่ยนผ้าก่อนนะกง
อากงยกบ้านของอีให้กับอามุ้ยบ้านนั้นขายได้เป็น10 ล้าน
เฮียอยากได้แบบมุ้ยบ้างต้องทำไงอะ
เฮียรู้ปะว่าสิ่งที่คนแก่เขาต้องการแต่ไม่มีลูกหลานคนไหนให้ได้เลยคืออะไรเวลาเว้ยเฮีย
มา
นึกยังไงจะไปนอนบ้านอาม่า
พวกมึงมาทำไมบ่อยๆวะ
คิดถึงเอ็มซื้อก๋วยเตี๋ยวมาฝากก๋วยเตี๋ยวเนื้อตุ๋นเจ้าดังไงมา
กูนับถือเจ้าแม่กวนอิมนะกูไม่กินเนื้อ
พรุ่งนี้ไปช่วยขายโจ๊กนะมาไปกี่โมงอะ
ตี 5
มันเช้าจังอะ
นกที่ตื่นแต่เช้าอะหาหนอนกินได้ก่อน
หนอนที่ตื่นเช้าอะโดนนกแดกก่อนหนอนตื่นสายก็เลยรอ
หรือมีหลานมาดูแลเนี่ยนะน่าอิจฉามาก
ใช่
เอ็ม
ฮะ
มึงก็หวานพืชหวังผลเหมือนกันใช่ไหม
ที่เราทำอยู่มันผิดไหมวะ
เฮียเราไม่ได้มาทำให้เขาเสียใจนะเว้ยเรามาทำให้เขามีความสุข
มัดไม่แน่นอะ
แน่นมากเดี๋ยวน้ำส้มมันอึดอัดอาม่าเหงาเนี่ยอยู่คนเดียวมาตั้งหลายปี
เดี๋ยวกูก็หายแล้วนะมันก็ไม่ต้องมาดูแลกูแล้วล่ะ
ช่วงนี้ม่าให้เอ็มเกาะกินไปก่อนแล้วม่าหายแล้วเอ็มค่อยไปแล้วกัน
มึงมาอยู่นี่ก็ดีเนาะสนุกดีกูใจเสียมึงละ
หลอกด่าอะไรเอ็มวะเนี่ย
กูบอกว่าขอบใจมึงเป็นคนจีนภาษาอะไรวะฟังไม่ออกสักค
ำคนจีนภาษาไทยไงคนจีนภาษาไทย
กูจะนอนแล้ว
มากลมเลยดิ
Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Carolyn Talks. This is a podcast / YouTube channel where I, your host, Carolyn Hines, film critic and journalist, speak to film creators around the world about their work, the industry, and what inspires them. And today I'm very happy to be joined by the director and main actor of the film How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies. And this film, if you haven't heard of it before, you probably will hear about it after this, has been sweeping across Thailand. I know it's like the biggest box office for Thailand in like years. And I love this film because it talks about family, but also about cherishing the memories and legacy that we can build with our grandparents. So I'm very happy to be joined by them. So it's director Pat Boonnitipat and actor Billkin Assaratanakul. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Hi.
Thank you. Thanks. So my first question is going to be for Pat. This is your first feature film, but you've done other projects before. You did Bad Genius, which was released in 2020, and before that you did Project SK Our Souls 2017, and both of those were limited series projects. So I want to ask you about making the change from doing a limited series to a feature film, because that is a dramatic leap. So can you talk a bit about the choice?
Oh, I have always been wanting to direct a film. Mm-hmm. Actually, directing a TV series is really a challenge for me because it's long. It's like 10 hours long. It's like making a movie that's 10 hours long, and the structure is completely different. So, but in Thailand, we are not very strong in the film industry. So new director, if they're gonna get a chance to direct something, TV series might be like, you're not going to go bankrupt with directing TV series because they're sponsor covered. So I started with that, and then when the GDS studio saw that, I might be able to direct a film to invest something, and then when I got a chance, yeah.
And for you, Billkin, like this is your first feature film, I think since Brother of the Year, which was in 2018. And after that, you did I Told Sunset About You and I Promised You the Moon, which was in 2020 and 2021. And after that, you've been performing literally all over the world, and you as a singer, but you've also been doing so many different advertisements. What was it like for you stepping back into the role of into acting on a feature film? Because again, that is a leap from a dramatic series to the screen, because this, first of all, the settings are completely different, and the process, as Pat said, is very different. You know, like the technicalities of making a film are different to the series. So what was it like for you to get back into the actor role, but for the specifics of a film?
Actually, at the beginning of working in this film, it's very very high pressure for me too, because I have to be back as an actor for in many years, and also, as you say, that the structure and the way of working is very different from doing a series, and also the way of working of this movie is also different. Yeah, a lot of pressure at the beginning, but I think I have a very good time working in these movies.
Yeah. And the thing with this film, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's about family. But for you, Pat, looking at your past filmography, all of your projects are about young people and about the challenges they face in society. Bad Genius, which I've seen, is actually very interesting to me because it talks about how, and I've talked about this previously with the producer for that actually, I love shows and films where teenagers get to be complex characters. They don't have to be heroes, you know, but they don't have to be villains, but they just get to exist within the gray area. And Bad Genius is very much about that, because these kids are looking to cheat the system, you know, they're not being honest. They're trying to use whatever tools they have to win. And in How to Make Millions Before Grandma Dies, it's kind of like that, because the character of M, played by Billkin, he's looking to get ahead. He's looking to cut corners. You know, he's trying to cheat the familial system. He's trying to use his grandmother's emotions against her so that he can profit from that. So talk to me about what interests you about making teenage characters that are like this, that are like, basically are like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I need to do to succeed and to get ahead and to make money, you know, like talk to me about making characters like that.
Maybe it just reflect the way that me and my team who are writing. I mean, with Batch in the series, I have the whole different team, whole different script writers, and with this team, I have another new script writers. But with both team that I've been working on, we all share pretty common idea about Thailand has been changing a lot, and there's so much wealth gap that keep increasing, and teenager has been like questioning about the system a lot, how would they be able to make it in the future after they graduate, and they start to question all the things that they have been told to believe in. And so I think I've been growing up with that system. So while making the film, but while writing for the film, it just came out without question. It just came out naturally. I mean, you want to like, because everything can be like questioned in our complex society, in our complex cultures. So I think regardless what film I make, maybe this kind of voice would exist in the work that I did.
Yeah, because the world, which is a very capitalist world, tells us that if we work hard enough, we can reach the top, you know, that we can succeed. And it tells us get all the degrees that we need to get, you know, get the right job, live in the right place, live in like, you know, right society, and do all of these things and we'll succeed. But your film very interestingly shows like society tells us that, but society isn't made fair. You know, like it's not built so that everyone is on equal footing, and like people will do what they need to get ahead. And I like that for this film, you use inheritance as the way to describe that, because that's something all over the world where we are taught like to look forward to an inheritance. You know, an inheritance is also a way to get ahead in life, and it's by getting ahead by using our grandparents, not only their wealth but their efforts and the things that they had to strive for to do. And in this film, you have M. He's doing it in a way where he doesn't even really know his own grandmother, you know, and he doesn't have a relationship with her, and he has to build a relationship with her. And so for Billkin, talk to me about what is it that attracted you to playing a character like M, because he's very interesting because I'm from the Caribbean, I'm from Barbados, and for us, being able to even get an inheritance is very rare because we don't have generational wealth because of how the system is set up there. But if you do have family that is rich, usually it's the grandparents or the great grandparents, the thing we look forward to is not necessarily money, it's a house. You know, if you have a house that they built or if they have land is considered where we can really build our wealth from. So in a film like this, where you're looking at a character like M who doesn't know his own grandmother, that to me is rare because we grew up our society is very matriarchal. So we grew up around our grandparents, you know, our grandmothers, or my grandmother helped raise me with my mother. So you have a character like M, he's like, I want to ingratiate myself to my grandmother, but I don't know anything about her. So talk to me about, first of all, getting the role and like learning to play a character like this who has to learn who this person that he's supposed to know, but he doesn't.
Actually, for the first thing, the culture of Thai Chinese family in Thailand about inheritance their assets from the parents or even grandparents, it's very common in our society. So I think it's the baseline that we all know that we're gonna get it. But the thing is, we have siblings, we have relatives. The thing is, who gonna get it?
Yeah.
The one that get it is the one who the parents prefer the most, or they see the importance on them, or any logical that it should be them. So for that thing, I think it's quite close to me because I'm also a Thai Chinese family. I can feel the culture. I learned it since I was born. But in my real life, I'm quite close to my grandma, my real grandma. But in the movies, yeah, I have to like do a workshop and make some characters that makes me have to start from zero by creating a relationship with my grandma and trying to take care of her and their inheritance. Yeah, we have done a lot of things from the workshop, and also understanding the character of M and the script that he tried to the thing that he trying to communicate.
Even during the script writing, I get to know him very early, so we talk a lot about the script. I even interviewed him to know what he really actually think about his family, or think about the structure of this family in our society. And many lines in the movie any line that was in the movie was actually from the thing that he said.
Could you give an example? And no, without spoiling the film for anyone who hasn't seen it, but could you give an example of one of those lines?
There was a scene where M and Ama they were like fighting about because Ama believed in one thing. Ama, she wants a burial plot so badly, like the big grave that she wants to like lay down after she pass away, and but it costs a lot, and it means so much to her. But from his point of view, he thinks that it's so stupid. It's really stupid to spend all of your earning on that kind of thing. So they were fighting, and he said one thing when I was interviewing him, that he thinks he said that he would tell the grandma that after you pass away, you just turn into this dust, to earth, and to water, and to everything else, and just turn back into nature. While the grandmother, she thought that her spirit would exist around, she will linger around. That's the point, his point of view, which he gave me, and we put it together in the movie.
And that's interesting to me because, again, like in many cultures where we bury our dead, that is a discussion that is had by many families. You know, like, how do you want your gravesite to look? And for a lot of people, the size of the gravestone, or the gravestone as we call it, is very indicative of like how much you care about the person. You know, unless because some people they actually have like a certain fund that they set aside for their burial and for their funeral. And so like that money is there. But then for those who don't, if the funds have to be gathered through the family or whatever, it's the idea is that the bigger or more elaborate it is, the more that means that we care for you. Right. So I can understand that. And then because there are people that'll be like, but you're dead. You're not going to know what the gravestone looks like, you know, but it's about the care and the understanding that they have because they're like, this is all that's left of me. And so I want it to look like it matters, you know? And so Billkin, having that idea and like, and having that be a part of the film, can you talk to me about how perhaps this film changed your ideas about not family, because I'm going to get to that, but also about death and about how we remember and how we pay tribute to the people that pass on?
How it changed you mean in my real life, right?
Yeah, so how it changed your own perception about death and how we pay tribute to the people in our lives that pass on.
I think it's I still think the same in the part of when we die, we die. When we pass away, we just going to be a dust. Like I think we are not exist anymore anywhere. We just gone.
Yeah.
But I learned about it's a part of how we care the person that died, you know, like how we go back to the grave and pray something, take some food for them and think about them. Yeah, I think it's a part of remembering the dead people, how significant they are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's it. Is like, because, again, in the Caribbean, well, it depends because we don't normally go back to the gravesite after the person has been buried. Like, for instance, we might go like within 6 months to like lay new wreaths and flowers. But for most of us, we don't really go back, partly because of superstition, because we're like, graveyards are creepy. And most of us are like, we are not going back into the graveyard. But for those who do go, having a place that looks like it's being well kept and it's being honored, and as you said, like you lay offerings and stuff for this person, that is a way, I think, not only of honoring them but honoring the memory that we have of them, you know. Like it feels final, but it feels as okay, like I'm able to let you go now because it may sound trivial, but like your gravestone looks cared for, so therefore I'm able to let you go. So thanks for sharing that with me. And so the next question I have for you is the other interesting thing about this film, and I love films like this, is like when you're talking about young people's relationships with their grandparents, particularly their grandmothers, there are things that they cannot learn from their parents that they can only learn from their grandparents, from their grandmothers. You know, they can only learn specific things from their elders. And the film is very much about that because M goes in not knowing really anything about his grandmother, about her religious beliefs, even the food that she eats, you know, and her outlook on life. And he learns that from her. Like for me, one of my traditions with my grandmother was watching soap operas at the end of the day, watching things like Days of Our Lives. That was our tradition. But I got my love of plants from her and of gardening from her. So he gets to learn that from Amma, who I think is played extremely well by Usha Seamkhum, who this is her first role. So for you, Billkin, what was it like being on a film set? Not only with an actress, this is her very first role, but she's playing an elder who has to impart all of this knowledge onto her grandson who doesn't know her. So talk to me about having that experience as M, but also as Billkin, the performer.
บอกว่าเวลาที่เรามีบทกับอาม่าอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมคะอาม่าเนี่ยก็คือเขาพูดถึงว่าอาม่าสิ่งที่เราได้รับจากอาม่าในฐานะที่เป็นเอ็มในตัวละครเพราะเขาบอกว่าเราเรียนรู้จากพ่อแม่ก็อย่างหนึ่งเราเรียนรู้จากคนที่เป็นแบบคุณตาคุณยายก็อีกแบบหนึ่งแล้วสำหรับตัวบิลกินเองเนี่ยคิดว่าเอาสองคำถามค่ะเป็นในฐานะเอ็มรู้สึกว่าเราได้เรียนรู้อะไรจากอาม่าแล้วก็ในฐานะบิลกินคิดว่าเราได้เรียนรู้อะไรจากแบบคนแก่รุ่นตายายมากคือมันคนละอย่างกับสิ่งที่เราเรียนรู้จากพ่อแม่
อะไร
เขายกตัวอย่างว่าแบบของเขาเนี่ยก็จะมีแบบสิ่งที่กิจกรรมที่ทำด้วยกันกับคุณยายก็จะดูหนังด้วยกันแล้วก็ดูโซปโอเปร่าเรื่องนี้ด้วยกันแต่เราจะไม่ได้ทำกับพ่อแม่
แล้วก็จากยายแต๋วจากตัวยายแต๋วเองที่มาเล่นด้วยใช่ไหมจากตัวยายที่มาเล่นกัน
ฟังคำถามมันจะตอบยังไงตอนนี้ก็I think the thing is when we have a very big generation gap and we believe something that is quite different but you know I think that the thing that's very important between the family bonding is intention, you know. The thing is the thing that I learned is sometimes even we don't believe in the same thing, we don't think in the same way, but we always have a goodwill for each other, and sometimes it's even more solid than the thing that we know. But when the insect flying up over my head,
mosquito
yeah, when we can see her real intention, it's beautiful, you know. Even we as I say we see the world in a different way, but we still have a very goodwill for each other. I think that's the point that I learned from living with a person in a big gap generation.
Yeah, it's intention is very important in relationships. No, I don't think it doesn't matter what relationships it is, whether it's a grandson and his grandmother, a parent and their child, friendships or romantic relationships. The intention that we have and how we enter into that really is very important. And in talking about intention, for Pat, you cast Uma, and this is her very first major film role, and she was 70. I read that she was 78 at the time of filming and casting. Can you talk to me about your intention in casting an actress for a role like this, which is very emotional and it has like a lot of layers and depth to it, to cast someone who's never had acting experience? What was your intention for that, and like what was it about her that made you say this is the person that I want to play Amma?
Okay. Mainly it's everything about the chemistry between the two, between the because while writing the script with my scriptwriter, it's very clear that we have to find an actor and actress, but you mean the nephew and the grandson and the grandma who would be really great in chemistry when they're together without me having to direct them, because by directing few TV series before, I found out for myself that the more I try to direct an actor or an actress, the less they become natural.
Yeah.
So I try to like find the right person for the role, and for this film, especially for this film, because we really appreciate the dead air, the gap in between dialogues, or like the silence in the film. So we try to find the most comfortable chemistry between the actor and actress. So when I found we actually cast him first, and we got him, and he also volunteered to be in the casting for Amma too. And when we met Usha, we call her in, and then we call him in, and then they did scenes together. And that's when I saw them, that's when I knew that it must be both of them.
Yeah, the chemistry is amazing, and it's special because she's adorable. She really is. Like, she's small and she's tiny. She has this short hair, and she's adorable. But she also has this she has this very specific energy on screen where she could feel like almost anyone's grandmother, you know. And like she's funny, but she's also very serious, and she's very deep, and like that is, and to have that on screen is, especially for our first role, is very rare. And I would say, and this is not to like bash her age or anything, but it's very rare for especially someone that age to come in, because first of all, the filming is exhausting. I know it's like very tiring because you can have like long days, and sometimes you can have to do reduced scenes, you know, and you have to like pause between setups and all that. And for her to be able to project all of that on screen, I think is amazing, and a testament to her own fortitude and her own intention as a performer. And we've talked about and Amma, but I want to talk about Amma and her relationship with her kids, because something that I think is so funny to me, and not funny in a haha way, but just funny as in humans are peculiar beings, is like when she's sick, when she's diagnosed sick, they don't want to tell her that she's sick. You know, they believe in not telling her that is protecting her. And I've had experiences like that personally, where the person is sick and like they don't want to tell their family that they're sick. Like for me, when my grandmother had cancer, she knew, but she didn't tell me, my sister, or our mother. You know, we found out after she was late in the stage, and she was like, what does me telling you do? You know, it doesn't change the circumstance. And her family kind of has that perspective. They're like, let her just enjoy the rest of her life without having this knowledge. So I want to ask you, Pat, about making that a part of the story, because it shows the dynamics in their relationship, and the fact that M is the one who tells her is very revealing of his dynamic with his own parents and his uncle and his uncles.
I think it was actually in our culture that the old, like the middle generation, our mother and father would agree on not telling. But it's quite common for us, like the younger generation, would that there's our right, like to know that, so we can plan for the time that we have left, and things like that. So I just try to portray this beliefs, because actually the story of the movie is quite simple, but me and the scriptwriter, we try to be very specific with the characters, so people could really actually believe that they exist. We actually bought the character from our life into the movie, so we were very specific in what each character thinks, and we spend a lot of time trying to establish that in the audience mind. Yeah, so that's a part of the thing that really necessary for the stories.
Yeah, and that's fun, and that is okay. I always find it funny when in watching films and in doing interviews with people, finding similarities between like other cultures and my culture back home in Barbados, and that's actually something that is also very similar in our culture, where like as you said, like the middle generation, they kind of make decisions for both the older generation and the younger generation. You know, they're like, we're the parents right now, and we're kind of the parents of our own parents, and like we do and make decisions for them, even if the grandparents are capable. But it's like it's very similar, and for like the grandchildren, they're the ones like grandma needs to know and that kind of stuff. So it's very similar. So I'm always fascinated by that, and that's one of the reasons I love doing interviews. And I think we have time for one last question. So Billkin, as the thing with M again is that he has motivations. He has ulterior motivations in getting the money from Amma. But I think that one action of him telling her shows that he believes in her having autonomy and agency over her life. And even though he doesn't look at it that way, I kind of saw what he did as being a gift to her, you know, is like he's giving her a gift of saying, I trust you in a way that your own children don't trust you. I'm giving you this knowledge that is a very important part of who you are as a person, and giving you the knowledge to do what you need to do for the rest of your life. So do you think that M looked at what he did as being a gift, or did that never actually occur to him?
I think M just want to be the one who tell her, because he just want to be special from the rest of the family members. So it would be like a point for him for the Amma preference, maybe the one that sincere to her at her like the late time of her life. So it would be a chance to get a house, and I think that's the first layer of what he think at the beginning.
Yeah, he I think it's something like, if you as like to imagine as a real person, that he might only realize what it means at the end, you know, like when he's older, he might think back on it and said, you know what, I did this amazing thing and it means more than I actually thought. So I like characters that are like that. And for my very last question, because I like to squeeze it out, is there any particular scene in the film that has really stayed with you long after production, long after it's been released and everything now? Is there a particular scene that has stuck with both of you as being whether it doesn't necessarily have to be emotional or anything, but it's one that that you think about constantly.
อยากรู้เลย
I think for me it's the scene, the last scene before Ama dies. When she was in the bed on the bed and M just there's no dialogue in that scene. He just walked to her and then just feel for the last moment of her life. I think that is a very sincere scene for me because I didn't prepare for anything. I just feel the before scene. I just think of the memory, think of everything that M have been through with the with Ama, and then I just stay with myself for a while before I'm ready, and then I just go. So I think that scene is very sincere for me as an actor who get into the character the most that I can, and also the feelings, some feelings that I feel. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know about the details of the emotion, but I just feel it as a way that I think would feel
Yeah.
for everything for everything between M and Ama for the last time.
And for you, Pat, what scene has really stayed with you?
Yeah, as he said it, I think that scene is very special for both of us also because we have been kind of like preparing but not preparing for that scene because it's a very difficult scene, but to prepare for it, it's like to destroy it. So we were juggling around our focus. We tried like focus on what we're doing right now in order that the thing that will come out later on will be natural. It's almost like a Buddhism. It's almost like a Buddhism, like we stay in the present so that the result would come naturally without prediction or without like preconcept, anticipating. Yeah. So we've been doing that for the whole for the whole production process, even before the production process, even in the workshop process, we've been doing that. Keep being in present, and so when that scene was nearly by the end of the shooting, like almost like the last day of shooting or something. So when he pulled that out, and he did it in one take, he pulled it out in one take without me having to like talk. But we rarely talk about character in the shooting because I just want him to do his thing and he just want me to do my thing, and we're just connecting to the monitor. So when he pulled it out in one take, I also cried because of joy, and also that many crew member were like feeling along with what he felt at that time. So it was a really memorable moment.
You were like, yes, we got it in one take and we don't have to do it again. But yes, he did an amazing job, and like that's I think that's a huge commendation for you, Billkin, because like I know like sometimes like these extremely emotional scenes are very hard to do, and like sometimes actors do get lost in it, and you do have to redo it over and over again. So the fact that you pull it out in one take, like that's kudos to you. And also like congratulations to you and Pat and everyone involved on the film, and especially Usha, like she did amazing, and like congratulations to all of you, and like amazing job on everything, and I hope you enjoy the festival and do your best to enjoy the city and the festival. Like congratulations, and thank you for taking the time for speaking to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Have a good day, you too.
Thanks. Bye.